Vanderbilt coming up from the south and right into the eye of the storm, and the Eagles soar. Winter advisories outside didn't matter. They drew almost 5,000 inside at Conti Forum. BC shooting 58% from the field. Kenny Walls takes aim from the corner and hits. Al Skinner has to be happy watching his team play a very solid game. They're looking good. And watch the passing. It leads to a bucket by Brian Ross. The Eagles led 44-33 at the half in cruise control. Terrific play on defense as well. Troy Bell will get the open floor here. He's on the way. Game high 29 for him. Eagles win 97-74. They're 9-0. Play UConn Wednesday. Life is good for BC. Not so good.
First half, Yuka Agbai, the jumper, tickles the twine. Agbai finished with 16. More BC. Watch the passing, and then Troy Bell. He's a good finisher, folks. Nasty. Shorty had a game high 29. BC up 11 at the half. Second break. Xavier Singletary from downtown, and that's just three-licious. 12 points for the X-Man. BC wins 97-84. They are now 9-0. It's the Eagles' best start since 1984. UConn comes to town on Wednesday.
10th-ranked UConn. BC was 9-0 so far this season, but the Eagles had yet to face a tough opponent. That is, until they met UConn tonight. Off to Conti Forum, Xavier Singletary, the senior guard, hits the three-pointer to help BC get their groove against the Huskies. Then UConn working off the BC miss. Karan Butler leading the Huskies down the floor. Finds Talik Brown on the wing, but BC's star guard Troy Bell is there for the block. Jim Calhoun pacing the sidelines. Karan Butler taking it strong to the hoop. He can't get it to fall, but Johnny Selvey is there for the putback, but BC comes right back on the inbounds pass. Troy Bell gets it up ahead for Ryan Sidney. BC led by 1 at the half. BC wins this game 85-68, improves to 10-0 on the season. UConn falls to 10-2 and snaps a 23-game win streak against Heights. Conti Forum, Xavier Singletary. Now the Eagles getting it done down low. Ryan Sidney with 2 bodies on him hits the turnaround, and he draws the foul. Then off the UConn miss, Sidney gets the loose ball. He gets it out to Singletary again. He hits it from the corner. And the Eagles, they're just psyched on the sidelines. The Eagles on the fast break. Sidney to Singletary, this time for the jam. And the fans, they're just pumped for their Eagles. They rush the floor after the game. BC wins this game 85-68. That snaps UConn's 23-game win streak over them. Troy Bell had 27 points this evening. A great night for the Eagles.
Well, obviously, you know, the guys are extremely excited. And you know, I know we're 10-0 right now, but I guarantee you they're more excited about being a ranked team, a very good team, and the fact that we got our first win in the Big East. And that's, you know, that's a good start.
Against Miami, the Hurricanes up by 1 in the first half. It's Bell leading the break. He gives it to Kenny Walls, who finds the trailer Xavier Singletary, and he knocks down the 3. It's 28-26 BC. The Miami D stayed strong, though. John Salmons picks off the lob pass, and he will take it coast to coast for a strong finish. Time winding down before halftime, Bell spots Jonathan Beerbaum open inside and feeds the perfect alley-oop, giving the Eagles a 40-36 lead at the break. BC building some insurance in the second. Bell heats it up from outside. Here's 3 of his 27 points. The Eagles go on to win it 82-73. Bell was 17 for 17 from the line, a new school record.
Well, see, a lot of the teams that we played weren't name teams, recognizable names. So, but I thought there was some good competition in there, some not as good. But the biggest thing was that we needed to put ourselves in a position to learn how to win.
That's what they call a tease. You see, you cut him off right when he's ready to continue a sentence, and you leave people hanging on the end.
Good team. You know, the record shows they beat us by 17, we're like 20, and dominated us in the second half. And as I said, I would not. I'd use the 10 games as a barometer, not tonight. I don't think they had much competition in the second half tonight. And I very rarely would say that about my own team. I know we've had bad games, but tonight was not one of those kind of games.
BC hosted UConn in an early season battle for first place in the Big East. That's right, first place at stake at Connie Forum and a high ranking for the Eagles if they can get it done at home against the top team in the country, the number 10 team, actually. Now, UConn super freshman Karen Butler, he was great. He had 29 points and 13 boards. Tight first half, went back and forth. Eagles up one at the break. Second half now, Eagles crank up the heat. They turn on the intensity off the turnover. Freshman Ryan Sidney finishes with a flush. He scored 12. BC starts slowly pulling away, up 45-42. Then some more defense. Off the inbound pass, Troy Bell with the pick. He rolls to the other end and finishes off a great break. Led the way with 27 tonight. Still a game at this point. Eagles up 4 with just under 12 left. But there we go. Let's get some three balls going. They go on a 23-5 run. Xavier Singletary hits it. That pumped up the lead to 10, and then off the loose ball, Sidney finds Singletary again. Another 3. He had 23 tonight. BC wins at 85-68. They snap a 23-game losing streak to UConn, their first win over the Huskies in almost 12 years. They are now 10-0 for the first time since 1985. Butch Stearns was at the...
A late Christmas present. The more people in the game, the more the crowd get behind you. I mean, the more excited and the more you want to perform better. So, I mean, the crowd mean a lot. They helped us tonight. It helped us tremendously today.
It says to me that we're better than what most people say we are. You know what I'm saying? So long everybody say you play a soft schedule. Okay, we played a soft schedule, but we smashed everybody on our schedule.
BC put the wood to UConn at Connie Forum. The Eagles are now 10-0, matching the best start in school history. Al Skinner's master plan starting to take shape for the Eagles. BC playing well right from the opening tip. Here comes Jonathan Bierbaum. He'll close it out with the loud dunk. Eagles getting it done on both ends of the floor. Watch Troy Bell, the big block on Tariq Brown. Get that out of here. BC leads by 1 at the break. UConn freshman Karan Butler with a big game. The putback and the foul. He scores a game-high 29 to go along with 13 rebounds. Bell keeps his big night going for BC, though. Off the inbound pass, the heads-up play, the steal, and he's going to bring it all the way home. Bell with 27 tonight, BC up by 4. Eagles pull away from there. Look at the hustle. BC tracking down every loose ball tonight. It's Xavier Singletary from long range in the corner. His 4-3 of the game is good, and it's party time at the Heights. BC upsets UConn 85-68, a huge win for Al Skinner's program.
The most important thing is 1 win in the league, and that's important. And now the trivia stuff is over as far as Connecticut is concerned.
I mean, I can't really describe it. We lost 12 straight games last year in the conference, and come out 1-0 and beat UConn feels really good.
And I really believe that they felt that this was their best shot.
This one right here for everybody that doubted us. You know, we can't play with the best teams, and that's what we want to come out and prove it.
Keenan, good track record, yet to push the right buttons, however. Jim O'Brien, too early to tell. How about Al Skinner? Slowly and quietly, Skinner has built a solid, entertaining basketball team at Boston College. Eagles are 13-2, heading into Saturday's game at Villanova, and it's time to pay them some respect. Levin Reed reports from the Heights.
Here's the difference between a losing coach that talks too much and a winning coach that lets his players do the talking. Rick Pitino came to Boston with huge expectation and left in a whisper. The team didn't get any better. Al Skinner has taken the BC men's hoop squad out of the dumper, and now their actions speak louder than any words. The Flying Eagles are 13-2, and for the 3rd week in a row, they are ranked in the AP poll. So now the quiet man with the quiet team is making noise. Shh, you better listen. It was a beautiful day.
One thing that's clear is that guys were extremely disappointed that we ended up 13th last year, and they wanted to improve on that. You know, we're still trying to be competitive in this league, and that's really what our goal is, and up until this point, we've been able to do that.
You know, I think it was my main man, E. Hemingway, who said, "Ask not for whom the bell tolls. It tolls for thee." But I think it was my homegirl, Marsha Brady, who said, "Troy's the big man on campus."
Yeah, baby! That's what it's all about!
I mean, it definitely feels good. Like last year, we lost 12 straight games, and
So people's confidence was kind of low. I don't want to lose any more games, especially not this year. I'm not thinking about splitting nothing. I want to win the Big East. That's my goal right now.
And hopefully the Eagles won't let Marcia and Ernest down. On Chestnut Hill, I'm Levin Reed, Fox 25 Sports.
Boston College is 2 years removed from a 6-win season. Won just 11 last year. It's a team last year, Digger, that had a 12-game losing streak. They've had a soft schedule, but still, you got to hand it to them. A good start.
Al Skinner has been very patient with this team, but it's the leadership of Troy Bell. They were down 19 against Miami on the road, came back in the second half, got it done, but you got to understand, Troy Bell, as well as the X Factor, Xavier Singletary, they combined for 50 points last week against UConn on the road, at home, I mean, and that's the comparison of both of these teams when you look at where they are, what they are. I'm just impressed that BC and Georgetown, team-wise, have the depth, have the experience, and the leadership to be where they are as unbeaten teams in the Big East. And what that does, Chris, to me, the Big East this season only has one winner, and that's the Big East Conference Tournament Championship winner. Now that there's two divisions, you will see BC and Georgetown be factors in deciding who goes where when we look at the powers like UConn, like Notre Dame, like Seton Hall.
You're talking postseason tournament with these teams already? It's a little early.
Well, it's not early, but this is what makes the
Is on the record. St. John's and second-ranked Duke are the only teams to get the better of BC. Off to Chestnut Hill to check out the Eagles. The 25th-ranked BC team only led by 1 point early in the second half, but Troy Bell helps BC surge ahead. Senior forward Jonathan Bierbaum with the nice move. He goes to the hole, gets the basket. He's fouled for the three-point play. The Eagles led 48-35. Some nice passing here. Bell with the alley-oop pass to Bierbaum. He slams it home. The Eagles beat Rutgers 77-51 the final. The Eagles are now 13-2 on the season. It's their best start since 1996-97 season. Now, Native Rhode
Ball. Ryan Sidney taps it to Troy Bell. Jamoa. BC up 1 at the half. Second half, BC puts it away. Kenny Harley gets the steal, goes in for the jam, part of his 25. Harley Davidson and the Marlboro Man win. There's one sure win.
Showing off the goods. He had the Mott's. Jam. Oh, Jam. Nice dunk in the lane. More Bradley. Down on the block. He gets the rebound. And then watch this follow. Oh, nice flush. Bradley had 23 in the game. The Eagles looking to soar. Nice pick right there. Yocano Troy Bell. He's got the hot sauce. Woo, spicy. Troy finished with 28, and then Troy showing off the 20-20. The good luck to Kenny Harley. Kenny finished with a career-high 25. BC wins 90-80. Temple.
What do you think? Probably a 4th seed in the tournament, play Butler or somebody in the first round, and then what? I say they go out west. That's what I'm thinking.
I'd say chill out on the March Madness talk. Are you excited for the Final Four already?
It's only January.
Hey, let it happen, man.
The Troy Bell Nuts are out in force as usual. Eagles trailed this one 6-0 actually before they rattled off 21 straight. Kenny Harley with a dunk. He had 16. That was the magic number tonight. I'll tell you why in a minute. Hokies had 30 turnovers. There's Troy Bell with the strip. Goes away with the jam. He had 16. BC up 13 at the half. You want more 16s? The X-Man, Xavier Singletary, had 4 threes, finished with 16 also. Now watch this. Ryan Sidney, star freshman, nailed by Bryant Matthews. No punches thrown. A little bit of a scuffle, though. BC wins by 22. They're now 6-1 in the Big East, 15-2 overall. Another big win for Al Skinner, and the Eagles are talking the talk.
They were coming to our place. They beat St. John's at home. They had a lot of energy going in. Plus, they were hungry for a win. But like I said, when people come into Conti, though, we plan on winning by at least 20 every time. Our offense work off our defense, and that's key. We want to make an effort to play tough defense every game, because some nights your shot's not going to be falling and things not going to be working so smooth off. And so, you know, if it makes it tough for the other team to score, I mean, sooner or later, we'll get in the rhythm and shots will start to fall.
15-2, they clubbed Virginia Tech tonight by 22 points, and the passion and the grease paint is back at Conti Forum. The Eagle backers there, 5,000 plus on hand to watch freshman Ryan Sidney lay it up and in. BC trailed momentarily, and they just ran away. Troy Bell upstairs. He's 6'1", he's dunking. 16-point night for Bell as the Eagles build at 35-22. Yeah, and that was high. Halftime lead. Uka Agba in the paint drops in 2 more. Eagles were a 20-point favored, plus-point favorite, I should say, and it showed. Skinner's crew getting it done with defense, the pick, the strip, the fly. Kenny Harley, the dunk. Harley was 16, Singleton was 16, and number 20 BC with another Big East win, 83-61.
third straight win, or really just trying to remain undefeated at Conti Forum. It hosted a very bad team in Virginia Tech in a Big East matchup. A Big East matchup, not a big matchup because Virginia Tech is at the bottom of the conference. But Boston College, with a win, could become 1.5 game leaders ahead of St. John's. Imagine that in the Eastern Conference. The Eagles 11-0 on their home court this season. So as we get to the highlights, as you know what I'm trying to get to, Boston College is just as surprising as this Emil Carr firing. Pick it up second half. BC stepping it up on defense. Troy Bell blocks Brian Chase three-point attempt. So Bell doing it on both ends tonight. Later in the second, Kenny Harley kicks it out to X-Factor. Xavier Singletary knocks down the triple. 16 points, 41-24, Eagles in control. Virginia Tech, as I mentioned, not a very good team. Troy Bell off the inbounds pass to the hoop and the foul. 44-24 Eagles, and the Eagles pour it on. Nice ball movement. Jonathan Beerbaum gets it to Singletary. Hello. 57-36 Eagles. Then they put it away. Beerbaum with the steal. Maybe not the steal. Didn't need to see it. Pretty much would end up.
Bell for three. Got it!
This is a skinny little kid from Minnesota. I was like, is he playing hockey at the school or something?
Bell with the crossover.
I remember I went to a camp going into my junior year, and my evaluation said something like he'll be a good D2 player.
Bell on the right. Someone's got to find him.
I was just like, wow.
Troy Bell personifies the remarkable metamorphosis of Boston College. Head coach Al Skinner has a team of Troy Bells, not a single McDonald's High School All-American, which is fine with Skinner. He doesn't invest much in blue chips.
Basically what he said was, we need you, but if you don't come, we're going to be just fine without you. So there it is, and make your decision. That's basically what it was.
If they're just totally extracting information from me and looking for me to do a song and dance or magic tricks, then hey, I'm just not your guy. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying I'm just not the person. But so that's the kind of, we want the individual that's kind of like the educated consumer.
Was Troy that kind of guy?
No question about it. I mean, we presented him with an opportunity. We presented him with a lot of responsibility. If you don't want that responsibility, then you should go somewhere else. If you want to shoulder this responsibility and see how good you can really be, then BC is the place for you.
Last year, Bell wondered if BC was right for him and flirted briefly with the idea of leaving. But his wandering eyes were tamed by the calm demeanor of his head coach.
He tried to keep it positive, and that's what you need coming as a freshman, especially someone that has the kind of task that I had.
I think of him like he's like Shaft, because he's up front. He's not going to tell you too much. He's not going to tell you too little. He's going to tell you what's real.
If I'm coming at you too aggressively, all you may hear is my tone and my attitude. You may not hear what I'm really trying to offer, and what I'm trying to offer may be the most important part of my message.
I mean, even when we were losing last year, he's still the same guy. You still love the game even though you're losing. You know, you don't like losing. Who loves losing? But you still love the game because of the way he preaches to you and teaches you.
The Eagles still play their home games here in the Conti Forum. Al Skinner still employs the same direct but low-key approach with essentially the same players who just a year ago finished 13th in the 13-team Big East. A year later, they've gone from the bottom to the top and the top 25 in the rankings, all of which begs a simple question. How did this happen?
It's the communication. It has to be somewhat in sync what's going on the floor, and I don't think we really had a good feel for each other. Whereas this year, we have a much better feel.
Last year, I couldn't look 2 or 3 plays ahead, and that's what's made me a better player this year, I think, because I can kind of see, where I want the team to go. Like I can call this play just so it can set up somebody for the next play, but I couldn't see that last year.
You have a snake might just be hanging out. You come attack the snake for so long, and the snake's gonna just snap and bite you. I like that Snickers commercial, you know, that hungry, why wait? That's how we feel this year, hungry, why wait? Why should we wait? Just take it.
The party begins at Chestnut Hill.
Surprises in the nation this year. 15-2 overall, 6-1 in the Big East as they took the floor against Villanova. A win today, and BC would tie the second-best start in school. The 57-58 team began the year 16-2. Jermaine Medley to Michael Bradley, the transfer from Kentucky, has been great. 26 points, 11 boards, 5th straight double-double. But the Eagles here applying the D. Kenny Harley comes up with a steal. Kenny Walls, wide open jam. He had 16, Eagles up 18. Later in the second half, Troy Bell is almost blocked, but his great second effort allows him to make the bucket. He had 22, did Bell. Eagles win it again, keep rolling, 89-74. Bell, the 22, one of 5 Eagles in double figures. So BC now 16-2, tying the 57-58 team for the second best start in school history. Wednesday, BC has a
the house. The team ranked in the top 10 in both polls. The Orange men have owned the Eagles in recent years, so revenge on the mind of Boston College. This evening, Boston College got out quickly. They're up 10 at the break, but this game was a tight fight all night. 51-50, Troy Bell, the up and under the hoop and the foul. BC on top, 54-50. Now BC up 56-54. Alan Griffin, dribbling, driving. Damone Brown gets the loose ball, lays it in. We have a tied game at 56. Under a minute to play. The X Factor, Xavier Singletary, tough baseline move. The Eagles knock down their free throws down the stretch. It is party time. For the first time since February 4th, 1997, Boston College beats Syracuse. They run their record to 17-2, a perfect 13-0 at home. Boston College, a huge win, perhaps the biggest in the Al's.
And puck in years. The Beanpot Finals are coming up. Spring training's a week away. The WWF comes to town on Sunday, so it's not easy to get top billing in this town, but the BC Hoops team is demanding to be noticed, and you had to like what you saw tonight, boy.
Basketball games just keep getting bigger for the Eagles, and they keep playing like they want us to pay attention. Biggest test of the season so far tonight. Number 7, Syracuse at Conti Forum for a Big East barn burner.
Yeah, they burned that barn down tonight, Butch. Great atmosphere. First half was all Eagles. Jonathan Bierbaum on the alley-oop. He put it down. The seniors really wanted this game. They hadn't beaten Boeheim's boys, and they were up 11 at the half. Orangemen go on a run in the second. Preston Shumpert had 18 of his 20 after the break. Hughes would come back to take the lead, but the Eagles aren't undefeated at home for no reason. Just under 5 minutes left. How about Troy Bell? In traffic, gets in the amazing bucket and foul. He had 12 tonight. BC was up, and the joint was jumping. The crowd a big factor tonight. Now the game was tied with just under 40 seconds left. Here's the clincher. Xavier Singletary goes baseline. Eagles up 60-58. Final seconds now. The Eagles defense will clinch it with the big steal. So they win it tonight, 65-63. They're 9-1 in the conference. They're in first place. The crowd storms the court, and Levin Reed was in the middle of the mayhem.
Well, guys, if you didn't believe it before, maybe you'll believe it now. The Heights was rocking for one of the biggest wins in the Al Skinner era. Let's talk about the BC defense. They forced 9 turnovers in the first half, 7 in the second half, none bigger than the last one.
You know, we kind of play for that. If you know, we don't want to, we're not going to overextend, but we want to try to remain focused on the ball and understand that if it's available, we're in good position, we want to try to attack it.
Our defense has to be consistent every night, like I added off shooting night, X did. I mean, we just can't rely on it, so we have to go what we know, which is defense.
Oh, yeah, defense win games. I mean, as long as you keep stopping teams, sooner or later you will get some shots to fall. So as long as you keep the game close and stay within reach, anything can happen at the end. So
it's got to feel good for you. You've been here through the sour times, and to see people jumping on the court at the end of the game, that's never happened.
That's never happened. It happened at UConn, but it wasn't this many fans. I'm glad to see what they call the bandwagon. But I'm happy for them guys because we got to win a program here at Boston College.
Hey, let's give the game ball to the BC seniors. They've never beaten the Qs, and tonight they can say they ate the orange. At Conti Forum, I'm Levin Reed, Fox 20.
And they look at that. You think they just won the NC2As, but this was a big win. First win over number 7 Syracuse in 4 years. As I mentioned, the Eagles 17-2 and moving on up those polls once again.
The course on which the Eagles are soaring. Already this season, BC had snapped a 23-game losing streak to UConn, won at Villanova for the first time in nearly 8 years, and could match their win total from the last 2 seasons combined. They could squeeze the orange, something BC had yet to do under Al Skinner. First half, Jonathan Bierbaum setting up the alley-oop, asking for it, and thank you very much. He had 10, Eagles by 11 at the break. Second half, Orange coming back. Preston Shumpert, 4th in the league in scoring, had only 2 in the first half. That's more than 2 there. Syracuse down by 4, and then Shumpert gets it going. A little skip pass. Strokey. He had 20, a 16-3 run to start the second half for Boeheim's team. Tied at 58 late. Xavier Singletary strong to the cup. Just 7 for him, but BC had a 2-point lead. Hughes down 4. Alan Griffin. Bottom. 1-point game. Syracuse now down 2, 4 ticks to go, and Quest Duane gets it stolen. BC rejoicing. The first win over Syracuse since 1997, and they stormed the court. But that really doesn't mean a lot anymore the way it used to. Skinner's first victory over the Orange in 7 tries, dating back to his days at Rhode Island. Syracuse has now lost its last.
It was pretty much built off emotion. We needed the fans to get into it. I try to get the fans in there as much as we can, and they helped out a lot. I really appreciate the fans this evening.
It felt very sweet, especially this team, because they've, in the past, they've definitely took a number on us, and definitely not the Big East tournament. We really kind of got taken advantage of down there.
The confidence was this: we're at home, and when you're at home, you have to win. This is the Big East. You got to win at home, and at home, we were supposed to win. They said we were 6-point favorites. We showed that we were supposed to win the game.
Brown, does he get it in? He does. Off for Duane. It's deflected. Stolen by Kenny Harley. And this game's over, and Boston College wins it, and we've got pandemonium on the floor.
2 record and headed south to face Virginia Tech. Now, who could have imagined a year like this? It's really interesting. A lot of people in the preseason picked BC to finish last in the division. Ironically, BC has more wins this year than the last 2 combined.
To Blacksburg, Virginia, where the Hokies were hoping for an upset. And with moves like this, John Smith going in for the dunk, the hometown fans had something to cheer about. But not for long. Troy Bell making some noise. He hits the 3. It was 40-26 BC at the half. Brian Chase hits the jumper. He had 16 to lead Virginia Tech, but that wasn't enough. Uka Agbai going up for the 2-handed dunk. The Eagles would lead by as many as 32 in this one. Later, it's Bell to Brian Ross. He cans the jumper. The Eagles win their 6th straight and soar over the Hokies 83-59. This is their best start since 1960.
Won twice this week, a week when a few pollsters apparently decided, yeah, the Eagles must be for real. How else to explain a big jump like this from 17th to 9th? Number 9 with a bullet, thanks to an 18-2 overall record and 9-1 in the Big East. You have to go back to December 20th, 1983 to find a higher ranking. The Eagles were 6th on that date. What really helped was Wednesday's win over then 9th-ranked Syracuse at Connie Forum. BC followed that up with a blowout win at Virginia Tech on Saturday. The Eagles are cruising and getting the recognition. We caught up with head coach Al Skinner this afternoon to get his take on the move up in the rankings.
Obviously, we're excited about it and we're happy about it, but it's when you have success in a league like the Big East, then those things are going to happen. So, again, I mean, we can afford to keep our focus rather narrow, because if you do well in this league, then those things will happen for you.
Hopefully we can move up, though. I was looking at the rankings, and some of the guys that are in front of us are playing some tough teams. I think we have a chance to do a little better if we can get these 2 wins this week.
I'm happy and very pleased about being ranked top 10. I think it just shows you a great basketball team here at Boston College, how capable, how good of a team we are playing the basketball here at BC.
You think about the reaction after that great win over Syracuse when the crowd went crazy. Pretty much a flatline reaction. Hey, it's just another win, let's move on, and that's how they take the news today.
Well, I'll tell you, this is a humble group because last year they weren't very good. So they have been at the bottom and they have been at the top. But to me, the key for this club is defense, because Troy Bell's a leader. When things aren't going well offensively, he does a terrific job defending the ball, and the rest follow suit.
Well, more news from the Eagles. Speaking of Troy Bell, he's having a stellar season. He's been named one of 15 finalists for the Naismith National Player of the Year Award.
Big stuff.
Michael Bradley, Eddie Griffin, Troy Murphy, all out of the Big East, also among the final 15. Here's Troy on making that cut.
I was kind of flattered. I'm only a sophomore, and I'm up among some of the best players in the nation. I never would have pictured anything like that, like in the preseason.
Among the schools on the schedule for the 20th ranked Eagles, who closed out January by blowing out Virginia Tech last night at Connie Forum. And here we go. You know, it was a little bit of a slow start at Connie last night because Virginia Tech jumped out to a 13-6 lead, but then BC went to work. Uka Agbai to ride Sydney for 2. Tech had 17 first-half turnovers. Troy Bell with the steal, and he goes all the way for the 2-hander. Bell had 16 points on the night, 7 assists, 5 steals. What a night for the sophomore. Here's Tech the other way. That's Carlton Carter with a nice move for 2, but BC up 13 at the half. Second half, Tech trying to hang around. Mabindo Dongo inside for 2 of his 14, but All BC down the stretch. Jonathan Beerbaum with the nice lead to Bell for the dunk. And then Xavier Singletary outside will set up and launch the three. Then he got it. Then Bell to Singletary for another three. BC wins it 83-61. You know, they just keep on going. 15-2, 6-1 Big East, matching BC's best start in 20 years. Here we go post-game.
They were coming to our place. They beat St. John's at home. They had a lot of energy going in. Plus, they were hungry for a win. But like I said, when people come into Conti, though, we plan on winning by at least 20 every time.
Overall, I mean, I'm really pleased by the way we've handled the ball as a team. I mean, to go into this game and only walk out here with 9 turnovers the last few games, I don't think we got to double figures in the last 2 or 3 games, and you know that's pretty good ball handling, and especially if you consider the amount of points that we're scoring, you know that's a pretty good job on our behalf.
They're coming off a road loss at UConn. How did this affect? Well, I'll tell you what, it was a great basketball game. First half, Providence starts fast. Abdul Mills for 3. The Friars jump out to a 13-4 lead, but BC comes back. Kenny Harley for 3. It caps an 11-0 BC run. Eagles up by 1, still in the first. Troy Bell goes right past John Linehan. Those two had a great battle all game. Pretty little left-handed lay-in off the glass. BC's up 8. Then the steal. In fact, BC had, count them, 12 steals in the game. This jam finishes it. BC up 44-32 at the break. Second half, Friars come out storming. The block. And here come Abdul Mills, the finish. And Providence leads by 1. They go on a 25-5 run at 1 point. Aaron Maxey to Shabazz for the jam. And the Friars are up 3, but BC comes back. Jonathan Beerbaum for the alley-oop and the technical for hanging on the rim. And then the Eagles defense getting it done again. The steal, Ryan Sidney, and the finish. And the Eagles lead for good. They make their free throws down the stretch. They win it 81-73. They hold on to first.
BC up 44-32 at the break. Providence College comes back strong in the second. John Linehan, 3 of his 22, and they're tied at 66. Troy Bell, another fantastic effort, blocks a 3-point attempt by Linehan, and they rock the house. Bell leading everybody with 26. The Friars made a run, but the Eagles take it home. Ryan Sidney with the 2 here. BC wins 81-73. That's 19 wins for the Eagles. Both teams meet again next Saturday in Providence.
Fine college basketball player, 2-hand slam. He had 26 points. The Eagles led by 12 at the half. Second half after fresh towels and Gatorade. That's Kareem Shabazz finish. 20-5 run by Providence to pull within a single point, less than 3. Tied at 65, Xavier Singletary. Giving it to Kenny Harley. Kenny Harley, that's good. Boston College wins it by a count of 81-73. BC 10-2 in the Big East, now becomes the first team in the league with 10 conference wins. Takes a game-and-a-half lead over Providence in the Big East.
On its first half action, make that second half action. Kareem Shabazz with the rebounder. 59-56 is the score. That's John Linehan. All the way. Providence down by just a point, 59-58. All right, less than 6 seconds to play. Ramil Augustin. Loose ball. Hero? No! Oh, so close, and yet oh, so far away. Boston College clinches a first-round bye in the Big East tourney as they win by 1 single point. Notre Dame
out hard on the ball. Ryan Sidney tips the pass. Brian Ross gets the jam out to Troy Bell. Aggressive plays mark this basketball game. Now in the second half, BC run a trap defense. Kenny Harley goes to Kenny Walls for the jam. BC caused 18 turnovers in this game. Bell in transition, nearly blocked by Sullivan, but great second effort, gets the hoop. Bell had 22 points. BC wins 89-74.
89-74. Boston College 16-2. They're 7-1. It's the Eagles' best start in 34 years, and they were 23-2 under Bob Cousy in the 66-67 season. They ended up losing the last game.
Yeah, Ryan Sidney, one of the better freshmen in the country. No one's talking about, hey, Villanova, you need a quality win. UConn doesn't count anymore. You got to win at Georgetown. Got to take care of business. St. John, Seton Hall, and Connecticut back home.
And how about this? Next up for BC, Syracuse comes calling Wednesday night. It's a battle of division leaders.
Sidney, though, with a steal, and check out this dunk. A major skywalking move. The freshman with so much confidence at 17. But then Linehan hits a 3 to tie the game at 63, matching a 3 from Bell minutes before. But BC with too much tonight. Kenny Harley hits a big J to give the Eagles the lead. Then Sidney gets a long touchdown pass from Xavier Singletary. Tom O'Brien should put that in his playbook. The Eagles go on to win it 81-73, the final, winning the first round of the Battle of New England. Simply amazing. After the game, PC coach Tim Welsh, well, he was talking about the BC defense that had him all worked up. Here's some post-game reaction.
We just try to stay aggressive defensively. Obviously, we had some foul trouble, and we were rotating people around and moving people around. But we really just tried to stay, somewhat aggressive defensively, contest passes, and really guard the basket.
The cross-checking or the pressure? I looked down there at one point. I was looking for Jerry York, but I saw Al. No, they're very, very good. They pressed Duke. They turned Duke over. That's good enough for me. I mean, I was very concerned about their defense.
I played with John Linehan over the summer. He was on my summer league team. He's a great player. He's in you all the time, defensively and offensively. He's shooting threes now, which is crazy. He wasn't shooting threes before, and he's making them as well. I think Troy did a pretty good job on him, offensively and defensively.
Well, I knew how good he was, but I just had to try to focus on what I could do and not let his defense interrupt my game.
I mean, he's phenomenal. I mean, I go on all night, about how good he is. It was fun, tonight playing up against him, and I can't wait to see him again.
And his people. And Ryan Sidney is having a great Rookie of the Year situation right now at Boston College. He came off the bench and did a tremendous job against Villanova. And not only did he do well in that game, Don, but he is leading the Big East in field goal percentage shooting in Big East Conference games, shooting 67%.
There he is, the Big East Rookie of the Week, Ryan Sidney of BC. And when you're looking for a National Coach of the Year award winner, how about Al Skinner of Boston College, from last in the conference a season ago to first right now, playing tremendous basketball.
Well, they are doing a tremendous job. And, of course, we mentioned Sidney and Bell and Kenny Harley all doing great things.
Take you to Chestnut Hill, hosting the Red Storm from worst to first. Late in the game, BC up by a single point. Jonathan Beerbaum with the huge block. Great save by Kenny Walls. Ryan Sidney, the monster jam. Eagles up 3. St. John's answers. Omar Cook to Willie Shaw. Misses, but Anthony Glover lays it in. Red Storm by 1. BC, though, too tough. That man, Troy Bell, drops it off to Beerbaum. He slams it down, and Boston College gets it done by 5. BC now 22-4. If the Eagles don't slip up in the conference tournament, in which they are a top seed, they could be looking at the number 2 seed in the NCAA tournament. A number 2.
Eagles down 3 at the half, but Al gives them a wake-up call. BC turns it up in the second. Beerbaum, the monster block, and how about this break? Eagles down court. Ryan Sidney, the big bad jam. He had 15 points, 6 boards. BC up 3. Now, Troy Bell had 17 of his 20 in the second half. Everyone hoping he becomes a senior someday. The super soft with a bucket. BC up 3. And then Bell going to dish it. Watch this. Nice pass to Beerbaum. Throw it down, big fella. The trademark jam. BC wins it 67-62. They're 17-0 at home. They celebrate their first Big East championship at midcourt. They'll be the top seed in the Big East tournament. They're now 22-4. Levin Reed was there for the celebration.
Well, guys, another exciting night here at Boston College, but what an ugly game. The Eagles had trouble with their free throws. They got eaten up alive on the glass, but in the end, guess what? You're looking at the Big East, Eastern Division champ.
I know how hard these guys have worked to get here. Not just during the season and the off season. And again, I mean, they clearly showed a championship spirit. And I wasn't sure if they were going to be champions, but they definitely showed a championship spirit, and I'm extremely happy for them.
It's kind of hard to explain. I mean, we were from the last team in the Big East to the first, and we just wanted to come out and make sure we could do it at home. So, it could have turned out West Virginia would have won, and it might have been a little tough, but I mean, it's a great feeling. I mean, the whole last season was frustrating.
And now we know we have the tools we need to stay in every game and win in the end. So we just try not to get rattled. Plus we have senior leadership, and that makes it a lot easier out there.
It really hasn't sunk in. It just feels like another game when I was holding a trophy, but, you know, I mean, tonight I'll probably sit there and think about it, and it's just, I mean, I can't even imagine not coming in here getting ready for a game, warming up. It's just it's hard to even, you know, fathom that I'm not going to be here for another game anymore. It was nice. I mean, holding that trophy was just, to see all the fans there supporting us, it's just a great feeling that, you know, BC's back on the map.
So their seniors end their tenure here in Boston College in style. A big win. They run around with the trophy. Up next, they got West Virginia and then the Big East tournament. At the Heights, I'm Levin Reed.
Accomplishment. You know, all it says is that night in and night out, our guys came out and played hard and played well, and was prepared every time they stepped on the floor.
It's kind of hard to explain. I mean, we went from the last team in the Big East to the first, and we just wanted to come out and make sure we could do it at home. You know, it could have turned out West Virginia would have won, and it might have been a little tough, but I mean, it's a great feeling. It's been a long road, and we're glad to be where we're at.
The seniors, it's monumental. You know, it's something that they can remember on, that they can say that we came from the bottom of the barrel. We became the cream of the crop. And by you becoming the cream of the crop, there's nothing anyone can say to you when you leave. If you're at the top, when you leave, it doesn't matter what you did the 3 years before when you were there.
It really hasn't sunk in. It just feels like another game when I was holding a trophy, but, you know, I mean, tonight I'll probably sit there and think about it, and it's just, I mean, I can't even imagine not coming in here getting ready for a game, warming up. It's just, it's hard to even, you know, fathom that I'm not going to be here for another game anymore. And just, it was nice. I mean, holding that trophy was just, to see all the fans there supporting us, it's just a great feeling that, you know, BC's back on the map.
The whole last season was frustrating, and now we know we have the tools we need to stay in every game and win in the end. So we just try not to get rattled. Plus we have senior leadership, and that makes it a lot easier out there.
It's really hard to describe the tremendous sense of satisfaction that I felt at that point in time, because I know how hard these guys have worked to get here. You know, not just during the season and the off season. And again, I mean, you know, they clearly showed a championship spirit.
After avenging a January loss to St. John's, there's just one team in the Big East that BC has played and not beaten this season. That would be Notre Dame, a team they'll likely get a rematch with next week in the Big East tournament. At the Heights, I'm John Holt for your Regional Sports Report.
They get things going, but it wasn't close as far as the game. All BC, Ryan Sidney, the steal and the lay-in. Boston College hot from the outside, 8 threes in the first half. Kenny Walls busts the tray there. Walls with 15. BC up 10 at the break. Huge game from Troy Bell. Three-pointer and one. He had 28. Boston College rolling, 96-65. BC becomes the first team in the 21-year history of the Big East Conference to go from worst to first. Mountaineers coming apart with 23 turnovers and losing hope as an at-large team in that NCAA tourney.
By 10 at the break. Second half, Troy Bell. Crossover, silky smooth. 3 + 1 = 4 when you make the foul shot. BC up by 14. More second half and more Bell. Stutter step and down the lane for the deuce. 28 for Troy. Eagles win 96-65. They are 5-3 in conference road games, which for a Big East team is spectacular. BC sets a new school record with its 13th conference win, and West Virginia's bubble may have burst.
Boston College take the overall lead, crown with the best record by beating West Virginia. Mountaineers in senior night. Whose senior night was it? Boston College there in the middle, but this was all about Troy Bell up 10 in the second half and shooting it and won. 4-point play put BC up 51-37, and in transition, more from Bell.
He just does it all. When he hesitates, he goes right by you, and this is just another one. He ends up with 28 tonight. Knows when to take this game over when they need it, offensively and defensively.
Ryan Sidney would find Bell there. 21 of those 28 coming in the second half when the Eagles ran away. 96-65, the final. 4 wins in 8 days to finish the regular season for Boston College. So, you know, back-to-back losses after a 4-game.
Sports on, lace up your kicks for this round ball classic. Pull up the 3, it's gotta be automatic. Down to the paint, 'cause it ain't where you start. It's all about the fire and desire and the heart. It's where you come to see a ball playing can't stop. With 3-point shots, you be 3-point shots, passing them out to the crowd, going out of control.
make believers out of folks. They beat Nova for the third time this year. Troy Bell off the loose ball, puts it back. Guys, much too quick for Nova's guards.
Well, I'll tell you, Troy Bell is just unbelievable. He averaged 25 a game in the 3 meetings. He dominated the Villanova guards, totally took control. A super year by Mr. Bell.
Kenny Harley shows the perimeter range. He had some big shots in this ball game.
Yes, he did. That's a balance. They bring you inside and outside. Bell makes things happen. They kick it back out. Not afraid to stick the three.
And then Ryan Sidney off the bench will feed Jonathan Bierbaum for a dunk. Boston College wins at 93-79. Michael Bradley held it just 14 points today. His BC shoots 51%.
Yeah, but they forced 27 points. They got off turnovers with 6 to go, and that was the difference in the game. Villanova could not play with the speed and quickness of what BC brings to the table.
Well, you know, Steve Lapis told me earlier this year, he said one of the biggest dilemmas has been turning the basketball over. Their ineffectiveness to really protect the basketball has created a real dilemma for them all season.
Guys, I'm out there and play. I know my team needed me, but, I mean, to be out there this year in the situation that we're in, top of the Big East, and, I mean, we're clicking, the chemistry's going and everything. I mean, it feels really good.
I think an extra day does make a difference. I thought in the second half they got a little tired. And, you know, we had a little better legs, and I think that was a big difference in the ball game. You know, we're stretching them out and trying to get them to handle them. We're working them real hard, and I just think, you know, I just think they got a little tired in the second half because obviously the first half I thought was pretty well.
How are they getting it done? This man right here, sophomore sensation Troy Bell. Co-Big East Player of the Year. He's averaging over 20 points a game, but more importantly than that, he brings a precocious leadership to this team. He's hungry. He plays with an intensity that transcends the game. Are they getting help? Absolutely. This team has over 7 players averaging over 17 minutes a game, but most importantly, Coach Al Skinner has done an amazing job. He has his team playing defense. They play aggressive man-to-man. They overplay the wings. They force you into half court, and they like to run. First in the Big East in scoring, averaging 80 points a game. But like I said before, why do I love this team? This team plays with heart and desire, and as one of the Eagles had on his shoes tonight, this team is hungry to win. So, yes, they are for real, but #1 seed, no way. The only chance they have of getting a #1 is if your goatee can continue to grow. I don't see that happening. I give them a #2 seed if they win the Big East.
Get to him in a minute, but first, Troy Bell, the steal. Bell up to Ryan Sidney. The Eagles up 9 at that point. More from BC and the aforementioned Uka Agbai. He was hungry. Time to let the big dog eat. This is part of a 33-6 run to end it as Boston College ran away. Troy Bell, 25 in game 1 of the tourney, 24 on Friday night. Boston College wins it big over Seton Hall, the final 75-48.
Part of a 28-9 run. BC up at the end of one, 37-29. Second half, all Boston College. Bell takes it all the way in. Looking good. He had 9 points in the game then. Ryan Sidney, the layup and the foul. The BC bench is pumped, and they should be. No team playing an overtime game the night before has come back to win the next game of the Big East tournaments. 0 for 14, and it happens again. 79-57. Final chapter on the Eagles' worst to first season, first in Big East history, is written. A school record 26 wins and headed to the NCAA after 3 Big East tourney wins by an average of 26 points.
Then it's Xavier Singletary. Look at here, the threes, they just keep falling. BC within one, 23-22. Pitt Singletary finished with 15, but the Eagles want the lead, and there it is. Uka Agbai, the J, 24-23 BC, and they are pumped. And then we've seen this before. It's Sidney hooking up with Jonathan Bierbaum for an alley-oop dunk. After the break, Pitt, though, not going to fold. Greer with a nice baseline move for the deuce. And the Panthers are within 4, but not for long. Singletary, 3, 42-35, Boston College. Isaac Hawkins with a highlight-worthy shot. That makes it 48-42 Eagles. And then we turn to Kenny Walls. He steps up. What else? The 3. It falls 53-45 BC. And that would be all she wrote. This team well on their way to becoming the winningest team in Boston College history. Ryan Sidney, then Kenny Harley with the 3. And finally, Jonathan Bierbaum, the senior. A little FaceTime. The running hook in the lane. What a way to finish an outstanding run. The final score, 79-57. BC's combined margin of victory in the Big East tourney, just 63 points. Enough to break Georgetown's record from 1988. Troy Bell, your Big East tournament MVP. And for the Eagles, it is still hard to believe.
It's just an unbelievable feeling. I mean, really, like people say, it really hasn't sunk in yet, and it probably won't for the next couple of days. But you know, as we go, getting ready for focus for these next couple of games, we're about to, you know, the NCAA tournament. It's going to hit me. I don't know what it's going to be like, but you know, it's going to be a great feeling.
It's something we work for and look forward to all season. I mean, it wasn't no easy task. I mean, it was hard to get to where we at. So, I mean, it's just an unbelievable feeling right now.
We're real happy about the progress the team has made. You know, the kids set out, they had some challenges in front of them, and obviously they met those challenges.
It feels really good. I mean, we were at the bottom of the barrel last year, and we just dreamed about being in this position. We worked hard to get here, and I can't really describe how it feels right now. Kenny Harley cut down the nets. I mean, he's always talked about it. I mean, when he was a freshman, I think the year before, the seniors won the Big East tournament in '97, I think it was, and he was always talking about how excited they were, and I mean, how he felt watching it on TV, and to go up there and see him on the ladder, I mean, cutting the nets down, it really made me feel good that I was a part of this.
Jonathan Bierbaum. Any college kid named Bierbaum, he's okay with me. He had a dozen in this one. Second half, Troy Bell, co-Big East Player of the Year, charged with Grand Theft Basketball. He'll be arraigned on Monday because we're not going to work on Sunday. He had only 9 in this one, but Pittsburgh, they got tired legs out here. 21 turnovers. Ryan Sidney finishing up strong, and great job by Al Skinner. Give yourself a hand. Eagles follow up their worst to first, John, during the, what is that, the Ray Lewis shuffle or the Art Modell shuffle? Either way, it doesn't look good. As I was saying, Eagles follow up their worst to first jaunt during the regular season with their second Big East tourney title. They won by an average of 21 points in this tournament. They have an RPI ranking of 7.
Eagles fresh off their Big East title win Saturday night. We're back at the Heights to find out what their roadmap to the Final Four would look like. And as TJ Winnick tells us, the path is a bit disappointing.
It was all about March Madness Sunday night at Boston College.
The number 3 seed in the East is Boston College.
But mad might not be a strong enough word to describe how BC players felt after hearing about their number 3 seed in this month's NCAA tournament.
It kind of hurt a little bit, just, you know, like people are still doubting us, but yeah, it's just more motivation.
For all year, they've doubted us, and they keep doubting us, and so I guess it just shows that until you prove it to everyone at the big dance, I guess that's when it really matters.
The Eagles will be matched up against Southern Utah this Thursday in Uniondale, New York. But do they deserve the number 3 seed? Let's take a look at Exhibit A. The worst of first season in the Big East Conference, a co-player of the year in Troy Bell, and a coach of the year in Al Skinner.
1 through 12, they all have the same opportunity in a particular region, and you know we all starting at the same place, and you know now we got to take advantage of the chance given to us.
Exhibit B, domination of their opponents on the way to the Big East tournament crown, including a blowout of Pittsburgh in Saturday night's title game, not to mention a record of 26 wins and 4 losses.
We need things like that. We want to be underdogs in a sort of sense of being a 3 seed, not being a 2 that we thought we should have been.
While he would have preferred a number 2 seed, Al Skinner insists it's just one more example of BC having to continually prove themselves. Everyone expects the Rodney Dangerfield or no respect factor to work in the team's favor.
I think the guys are going to come out on Thursday and they're going to be angry, they're going to be upset, they're going to use that disrespect angle as a real motivational tool.
There's been a story out here though, so I mean, why change it now? It's been working for us.
Coach Al Skinner will work out his squad here on campus on Monday, and then they'll depart for Uniondale, New York on Tuesday on a trip that they hope is a month long and that they hope winds up in Minneapolis, Minnesota. At Boston College, TJ Winnick, NECN.
About Boston College, one of the great stories in college basketball was the Eagles' rise from the basement of the Big East to the championship, not just in the regular season, but also in the Big East tournament. And Al Skinner joins us now. First of all, congratulations. And Al, when you looked in the eyes of your team, do you still see that hungry? I mean, they proved a pretty strong point by winning the conference title. What about a bigger title now?
Well, I think we'll be pretty much prepared. I mean, guys are really excited about getting into the tournament, and now you just got to go out and play it. But I think, I think we'll still have the fight that we need in order to have some success in this tournament.
Dick?
Hey, Al, let me ask you this, Al. I cut you when you played for the Detroit Pistons, and now you become my choice as the National Coach of the Year. Unbelievable. But I want to say this to you, Al. Hey, when did you realize that this team was going to be special? Because no one out there had you projected in the top 50 in America.
Well, I think really early on in the season in December when we played Holy Cross, and I thought Holy Cross had presented us with some problems. They had played Providence very well. They had just beaten UMass, and they had great size, and we had little size, and that was going to be a big concern for us. But we really, guys went out, took from the blackboard and executed and took it onto the floor and did a great job. And that's when I realized that we had a chance to be really good and had a chance to be very successful this year.
Al, when I saw you 2 weeks ago before the Notre Dame game, we talked a little bit, and I was really impressed with how your team came together and they just family. Tell us about that trip to Europe this summer, which really helped your kids.
Well, we went, this summer, we went to Switzerland and southern France, and guys had a chance to really kind of get to know each other. And I think at the end of the 2 weeks, what we found out is guys were able to respect each other and also appreciate each other for what they could do rather than for what they couldn't do. And I think they allowed them to let their defenses down and get to know each other, better, and it really brought us together as a team. So it worked in our favor. When I think about it sometimes, it could have went the other way. They could have found that they didn't like each other, so we could have been in trouble this year. But it worked out very favorably for us, and they came back and continued to work hard and try to be the best thing they possibly could be.
All right, from Southern France to a first-round meeting with Southern Utah. Al, wish you the best of luck. A lot of people's National Coach of the Year right there, and we applaud what you've done and the maturity and the toughness and the depth and strength of that Boston College team. If you haven't seen them much this year, keep an eye on this Boston College.
The Eagles taking on the USC Trojans, both obviously looking to keep on dancing for a berth in the Sweet 16. USC came out strong, pushing it up the floor to Jeff Trepanier for the reverse. It was all clicking for the 6th-seeded Trojans. Still early in the game, David Blumenthal knocks down a 3. That makes it 26-13, part of a 12-0 run. But BC comes back. Xavier Singletary with the putback, and then Ryan Sidney steals the inbounds pass, and he lays it in right here. That's 4 quick points, and the Eagles trail just by 4 at the half. USC, though, was tough to catch. Brandon Granville hits the long 3, and it's now 44-38 Trojans. Then Granville, a little later, strips Troy Bell, spins and fires the pass to Trepanier, and he takes it in, and the Trojans grab a 9-point lead. The BC battles back once again. Bell from way downtown. It's good, and the BC Co-Player of the Year starts to take over. Bell again a little later, driving from the top of the key. The acrobatic shot falls. BC takes a 1-point lead. A minute to go now. Sam Clancy beats everyone up the court, hauls in the pass. USC back up by 5. The Eagles are running out of time. 11 seconds left now. Bell connects for another long 3, and BC is clinging alive. That sets up the final possession for BC, down by 3.
Harley down the lane. The runner, no. Bell, and that's it. USC pulls off the upset.
Devastation for the BC Eagles as they are out of the big dance. USC wins it 74-71. The lingering question will be why they went for 2 and needed a 3. Bell finished with a whopping 32 points, 21 in the second half, but it was not enough as USC committed 27 turnovers, but they are off to the Sweet 16.
Coming down on that last play, Coach Skinner said, take a look, but also, go to the basket. The way it was playing at 3-point line, I guess, kind of gave me an initial reaction to getting to the basket. Hopefully getting a layup and forcing the clock to stop, or maybe getting fouled and one. So that's what I thought tried to do.
If he made the play to kick it out to someone, and that's fine. If he didn't make the play, then that's fine. There's nothing out of the ordinary that happened as far as I'm concerned. That's the way we play the game. But please, let's not overemphasize.
A tremendous year for you guys, and the thing that gets lost in all this is the 7.5 seconds didn't cost Boston College the basketball game. You shot 30% from the floor. You had a tough night shooting the night before against Southern Utah, and then you struggled against USC. If you bury your shots, you're playing tonight.
That's absolutely true. We caused 27 turnovers and we only committed 11. In any other game we should have won. But like you said, we shot poorly, and that was pretty much the story of the game.
Was it nerves being the first time in the tournament, or just, that inevitable slump that you don't want to happen because you shot the ball well all season long as a team? You're up in the 45, 46 percentile range all season long, and then you get to the tournament and you're drawing iron on most of your shots.
I guess poor shooting just kind of caught up with us. We shot poorly against Syracuse at home. We shot 38%, but our defense got us to win, and we were in that game. We were exactly where we wanted to be, even with the poor shooting night. But one just got away from us.
Talk about what it's like to play in the tournament. This was your first experience. It was that first experience for everybody.
Right.
But you get there, it's a whole different thing. You guys were talking about a little bit during the week about how every possession is a life and death struggle.
I mean, the tournament is great. I mean, every kid dreams about playing in the tournament growing up. I mean, the atmosphere was, I mean, it's undescribable. I mean, all the fans in there, you know you're on CBS, you know your whole family can watch you. But like you said, we were a little bit nervous. I mean, none of us have any pre-tournament experience, but I mean, we got there together and we felt that if we just played together, we'd be just fine.
Will you watch the games tonight and this weekend, or is it the kind of the wound is still open and you don't want to see any more basketball right now?
I mean, it's tough, but I'm definitely going to watch. I mean, especially when they get to the Final Four. That's what I'm really going to be watching. It's a lot of fun. I mean, we just happen to lose a game. I mean, it happens.
Mm-hmm. Now that you've been there, you want to get back. But you guys have a tough challenge ahead of you. You lose X, you lose Kenny, you lose John, a couple of the other seniors who didn't play but provided good leadership in practice and so forth. So it's going to be difficult for you guys to get back, but I got to believe that you built that step and now you want to take another step.
Oh, definitely. I mean, like you said, we're losing some seniors, but I mean, I'm going to step up. Yuka Agbai is going to step up. I mean, we'll have enough leadership. Kenny Walls, we'll have enough leadership to get by, and hopefully the freshmen come in and they'll be ready to play right away.
Now, for people who don't know your story, you kind of slipped under the radar screen. You were in Minneapolis, a very good player, did a lot of things in high school, and the schools around there, you were kind of their second, your third, their fourth choice. How'd you end up coming out east?
Well, it was between Boston College and Tennessee for the most part for the schools that I was choosing. And when I visited Tennessee, the head coach wasn't there. I mean, I went on my official visit, but he wasn't there. I don't know why. I don't know what happened, but he was busy that day. So, I mean, that kind of let me know that they weren't really interested. And when I came to BC, I mean, I knew I'd have an opportunity to play, and that's all I wanted.
Now you got another guy, a freshman this year, Ryan Sidney, who was another one of those guys. He was an Ann Arbor, Michigan, Midwest guy, and he slipped under the radar screen, and he was a fabulous addition to the squad.
I mean, Coach Skinner's good for finding guys like us. I mean, like you said, Ryan Sidney was a great addition. I mean, most guys coming off the bench are instant offense, but he was totally opposite. He was instant defense, and he provided a great spark for us all year.
Did that make you guys, you and Ryan, I'm sure you guys have talked about this maybe once or twice over the course of the season, a little bit more hungry to prove to people, you know, you passed me up, look what I can do?
Definitely. I mean, it's always good to kind of say I told you so. I mean, I'm not really like a bitter person about the situation because there's so many great players around the country that someone has to get left out. So, I mean, I understand that, but it definitely feels good to get what you deserve.
Well, you had your coming out party this year, obviously, and then in the tournament, you again stepped up your game, 32 points on Saturday night against USC, a couple of probable threes. I mean, you did everything you could to will Boston College to victory, and although you lost, it has to feel good knowing you put your best foot forward.
I mean, that's my job. That's what I'm out there to do. I mean, the guys look to me for, to bring us back when we're down. I mean, I don't really see it as heroics or anything. That's just what I'm out there to do.
What will you work on in the offseason to improve your game? I mean, there's always things that guys say they can get better at. What are you going to get better at?
Well, I'm in the weight room, so I got to put on a few more pounds. I'm kind of skinny. Work on my defense and passing.
Talk about Al Skinner a little bit. This was his fourth year in the program. It was 3 difficult years, but he never wavered. His faith never wavered. You guys went through your lumps. You took your lumps last year a little bit, and then you have this kind of season. And all along, Al's remained the same guy. He's very even keel, and your team is sort of personifies him.
I mean, Coach Skinner's a great guy. I mean, he was a perfect coach for this program when he came in. I mean, none of the players he had recruited, so he had to work with what he had. And I mean, I'd say that's the reason they did so poorly. But I mean, it gave him a few years. He got the players he wanted and built the program up the way he wanted it to be, and these are the results.
Now, so far, everything I've been reading in the paper is that Troy Bell's staying in school. Let's hear it from your mouth.
I'll be back next season.
No doubt, no question in your mind you're coming back.
Yep, I'll be back.
All right, we're going to hold you to your word on that one. Now, any picks here as we're talking about, we're down to the final 16 teams. Who does Troy Bell think is going to win the Final Four and take this thing home?
Well, I like Michigan State, and Kansas is also playing pretty well. I don't know. Duke's always good, but I think I'm going to go with Michigan State.
When you played Duke, take us back to that a little bit. It's a 4-point game at halftime. It got a little ugly in the second half. They went on a run, but you know, you had a nice season up to that point. You'd won a lot of games. You were starting to make some believers out of people. But did that game to you guys kind of solidify who you were as a team? And Kenny Walls didn't back down from Jason Williams at the end. If you had shot better, who knows?
Yeah, I mean, we're a scrappy team. We're undersized every game, so everybody has to get in there and rebound. But I don't know what happened against Duke. I mean, I thought it was going to be a better second half. But, I mean, Duke's very good. They're a very good team. And I think playing that game kind of brought us closer together.
All right, Troy Bell, we appreciate you you coming aboard. It's a fantastic season for Boston College, fantastic season for you, and we look for more of the same next year. We're going to be counting on it, all right?
All right, thank you.
That'll do it for Saturday.
Look at our men's point guard nominees. You'd have to say that all are explosive and a common thread. They all led conference champions. And when we started the year this season, I thought it might be Jamal Tinsley of Iowa State running away with it with his New York City game, his ability to pass the ball. But we had some guys that really made this a horse race, starting with Troy Bell at Boston College.
Troy Bell right here from Minneapolis. Let's give him a warm welcome home. Troy Bell from Minneapolis, who did a great job as a freshman at Boston College. His team went 3-13. But this past year, we saw what the Eagles did. They flew right into the top 10. Troy Bell was the leader, reversed the record to 13-3, as well as winning the Big East Conference tournament, as well as getting to the NCAA tournament. And Dick, as much as you love Jason Williams, Troy Bell can flat out play.
Well, there's no doubt about it. When you talk about Troy Bell, very explosive, dynamic point guard. When you talk about a point guard, guys, I think a point guard's got to do three things. Ability to penetrate, create opportunities for their teammates. Number two, ability to pull up and make the three like Nancy could do when she played. And number three, ability to defend and stop the ball from being penetrating. And I'll tell you one thing, the guy I really love, Jason Williams, has been sensational all year long. In fact, I believe that he's better than 90% of the guys playing in the NBA at the point guard slot.
Well, another thing these point guards will need is great hands to hold this trophy for the winner. Let's take a look at our nominees for Men's Point Guard of the Year.
The candidates for Men's Point Guard of the Year are Jason Williams, Duke. An exciting combination of speed and savvy, Williams has the total package. With unlimited range, excellent vision, and the ability to attack the rim, this super sophomore is nearly unstoppable. Named first team all-conference, he was the only player in the country to finish among the top 20 in both scoring and assists. Jamal Tinsley, Iowa State. Named the Big 12 Conference Player of the Year, this Brooklyn, New York native brought a flashy yet confident brand of basketball unlike anything the Cyclones had ever experienced. A true senior leader, Tinsley led his team in nearly every statistical category. Troy Bell, Boston College. Only a sophomore, Bell earned co-Big East Player of the Year honors this season after leading the Eagles to one of the greatest turnarounds in conference history. 11-19 a year ago, BC finished atop the Big East this season while Bell became the first BC
East Plays of the Year.
Season at 19 wins as Tommy Amaker, another brilliant coaching job.
St. John's completes the double. They beat both finalists from last year in a 5-day span.